Today I'm going to show you the 15 Japanese secrets that transformed my cleaning routine from 3 hours to just 20 minutes. And pay attention, tip number 8 is going to completely blow your mind. Here's something you need to know. 97% of people are wasting years of their lives with completely wrong tools. And I'm going to prove it with real numbers. Have you ever felt trapped in an endless cleaning cycle? You spend hours organizing, but within days everything returns to chaos. You end the day exhausted, and your home still demands more. Following the Japanese principle of Kaizen, continuous improvement, I realized the problem is rarely us. It's the inadequate tools we use out of habit. The Japanese understand that the right tools don't just make work easier, they transform exhausting tasks into efficient processes. As they say, one right tool is worth more than 10 wrong hands. These are 15 strategic changes based on Japanese functional minimalism. Small adjustments that create a cascade effect of productivity, time savings, and well-being. 1. Hikidashi no chi, the wisdom of the drawer. There is a universal phenomenon that deserves its own name, the chaos drawer. Every home has at least one. That drawer where things with no defined destination end up and never leave. Where piles form and nobody knows exactly what's at the bottom. Where you search for scissors for 3 minutes and find everything except the scissors. In Japan, the chaos drawer is considered evidence of insufficient planning, not personal carelessness. The solution is not more discipline, it's more structure. Hikidashi no chi, the wisdom of drawers, starts with a simple principle. A drawer without internal dividers is a drawer destined for chaos. The uniform, empty space doesn't communicate where each object belongs, so nothing belongs anywhere, and soon everything is nowhere. Modular drawer organizers, especially bamboo ones or high-quality plastic ones, completely transform how a drawer functions cognitively. Each compartment has a category. Each category has a visual home. You open the drawer and see utensils, see cutlery, see nail clippers and dental floss, each in its own defined quadrant. The benefit isn't just visual. When each object has a specific physical place, the decision of where to put it after use stops being a decision. It becomes automatic. The scissors go in the scissors compartment. The tape goes in the tape compartment. There is no deliberation. The elimination of these micro-decisions throughout the day is more significant than it seems. Every decision, no matter how small, consumes mental energy. An environment organized with clear systems returns that energy to you. Organize every drawer with dividers. The chaos drawer will cease to exist not because you became more disciplined, but because the structure of the space made chaos harder than order. 2. Shizen no kirei, the cleanliness of nature. Shizen means nature, naturalness, and there's a curious paradox in the way we clean surfaces in the Western world. We use aggressive chemical sprays, we wipe with synthetic cloths that scratch, and then we wonder why surfaces look dull over time, why furniture lost its shine, why the kitchen stainless steel is scratched despite being cleaned regularly. The Japanese have a solution that seems almost too simple to be true. High-density microfiber cloths, especially those developed for wet cleaning and suede-style models for polishing, clean most surfaces with nothing but water. Not water with product, just water. The microscopic structure of the fibers, which are up to 100 times thinner than a human hair, creates enough friction to capture and retain bacteria, grease, and dust without needing any chemical agents. This has implications that go beyond practicality. You reduce your family's exposure to chemical compounds. You reduce your monthly spending on cleaning products, which for many families is surprisingly high. You extend the life of surfaces because you're not exposing them to substances that, with repeated use, corrode finishes, discolor materials, and compromise the quality of furniture and appliances. A quality microfiber cloth washed correctly and properly maintained Lasts for years, hundreds of uses. It's Mutanai applied to your cleaning tools. Zero waste. Respect for the resource. Have specific sets. One for kitchen surfaces, another for bathroom, another for furniture, another for glass and mirrors. The color-coded separation system, which the Japanese call Irawakata, prevents cross-contamination and creates a mental order that reduces decision load during cleaning. 3. Tomei no kanri, management through transparency. Tomei means transparency, and in the Japanese philosophy of home organization, this concept has a very literal and very practical meaning. You cannot efficiently manage what you cannot see. Think about your refrigerator right now. How many items exist in the back that you've completely forgotten? How many leftovers in opaque containers that you can't identify without opening? How much food do you throw away each week because it was hidden, invisible, outside your daily awareness? The solution is simple and elegant. Glass hermetic containers for food storage. Transparent, not opaque. With efficient sealing, not plastic that lets yesterday's smell contaminate today's flavor. A refrigerator organized with transparent glass containers works like an instant visual inventory. You open the door and see exactly what you have, what you need to use first, what's running low, what's fresh, and what isn't. No unpleasant surprises. No last-minute decisions about what to make for dinner because you didn't know exactly what was available. Glass is completely inert. It doesn't transfer flavor. It doesn't absorb odor. It can go from freezer to microwave safely. It lasts for decades. It's dishwasher safe. It's sustainable in ways that disposable plastic never can be. And there's a benefit nobody mentions, but that is real and immediate. A refrigerator organized in uniform, transparent containers has an appearance that, every time you open the door, produces a micro moment of satisfaction. Everything seems in place. It feels like you have control. That micro moment, repeated several times a day, has a cumulative effect on your relationship with your home. Tomei no kanri, manage through what you can see. 4. Ofuro no tetsugaku, the philosophy of the sacred bathroom. In Japan, the bathroom is considered a space that deserves specific attention and care for reasons that go beyond obvious hygiene. There's a tradition that says the condition of a home's bathroom reveals the character of its inhabitants, not as a moral judgment, but as a practical observation that the willingness to care for the most intimate and least visible space in a home reflects the attention given to the invisible details of life. And there's a tool that seems trivial, but completely transforms the daily bathroom experience: the shower squeegee. The shower glass wet after bathing that never dries completely, that accumulates persistent moisture, that develops limescale stains and mold in the corners, that requires aggressive products and considerable effort to clean periodically. All of this results from a single omission: not drying the shower glass immediately after use. 30 seconds with a quality silicone squeegee after each shower eliminates 90% of shower cleaning work. Moisture is removed before it creates conditions for mold growth and limescale buildup. The glass stays visibly clean for weeks without deep cleaning because deep cleaning is rarely necessary when daily maintenance exists. The Japanese call this soji no koritsu, cleaning efficiency, the understanding that 30 seconds now is worth 30 minutes later. Complementing this, the closed toilet brush with touchless base keeps the toilet area clean without creating the aesthetic and hygienic problem of conventional open brushes that stay damp and visible. A small change that produces a daily impact on the overall feeling of the bathroom. Ofuro no tetsugaku. Treat the bathroom as a sacred space. What you care for with attention cares for you in return. 5. Jikan no mottainai, ihike, the waste of time you don't notice. Mottainai expresses regret over waste. And in the context of domestic time, there is a particularly insidious type of waste because it is completely invisible in the moment it happens. It's unnecessary movement. Ergonomics researchers calculated that an average family makes between 300 and 500 meters of unnecessary movements inside the home during a single cleaning session. Looking for a product that's in the wrong place. Going to fetch a cloth left in the previous room. Returning to the kitchen for something that should have been brought from the start. Each movement alone seems insignificant. Added together, over a week, they represent minutes that become hours over the course of a year. The Japanese solution is the environment-specific cleaning kit. Instead of a single centralized kit from which you distribute products throughout the house, you have mini cleaning stations strategically positioned. A compact kit in the main bathroom with products specific to that bathroom. A kit under the kitchen sink with products specific to that space. A kit in the laundry area for common areas. Each kit contains exactly what that environment needs, nothing more. The result is that cleaning each space becomes completely self-sufficient. You enter the bathroom for a quick 5-minute clean, and everything you need is there, within reach. No fetch and return trips. No rhythm interruptions. Jikan no mottainai. Time is the most finite resource you possess. Organizing it begins by eliminating movements that consume without producing. 6. Shomei no chikara, the power of the right light. There is an aspect of home cleaning that almost nobody talks about, and that explains why some people seem to clean the same surface multiple times without achieving a satisfying result. Lighting. Clean surfaces under the wrong light look dirty. Stains invisible from certain angles appear completely when the light changes. And you discover this humiliatingly when a guest arrives and you suddenly see what was always there but you had never noticed. The Japanese developed a cleaning practice called keiko soji, cleaning under revealing light, which consists of using flashlights or temporarily repositioning lamps to examine surfaces at raking angles. Raking light reveals everything. Fingerprints on glass, grease splashes on walls near the stove, dust accumulated on baseboards, marks on tiles that go completely unnoticed under frontal lighting. The practical application is simple. Before considering a cleaning job done, illuminate the surface from a low angle with a flashlight or your phone's light. What you discover might be surprising, and more importantly, you learn where attention is truly needed and where you can save effort. Shomei no chikara, the power of the right light to reveal the truth you were cleaning without seeing. 7. Muda Haijo. Eliminate invisible waste. Muda is one of the central concepts of the Japanese production system, widely known in the West through the Toyota system. It means waste. Anything that consumes a resource, time, energy, or money without producing real value. And when you observe the Western domestic cleaning routine through the lens of Muda, something disturbing becomes evident. Wringing a dirty cloth by hand, bending the spine, submerging hands in water full of chemical products, splashing dirty water on your own legs, creating puddles that take time to dry and produce those ghost footprint marks that appear right after cleaning. Repeating the entire process because the result was unsatisfying. All of this is pure Muda. Waste of physical energy, waste of time, waste of effort that could be eliminated with the right tool. The centrifugal mop system solves this with an elegance that is deeply Japanese in its functional simplicity. You control moisture without touching the dirty water. The rotating mechanism uses centrifugal force to extract exactly the right amount of water from the cloth, and you remain upright throughout the entire process, protecting your spine, your knees, your wrists. The visual result is different too. A floor cleaned with a well-wrung microfiber mop has an appearance that a traditional broom followed by a conventional mop rarely delivers. Microfiber captures microscopic impurities that cotton simply slides over. There is also the spray mop for daily maintenance. Splashes after preparing dinner, small marks at the entrance, dust accumulated in corners during the week. You spray, pass once. The floor dries in 3 to 4 minutes without marks. A 90-second intervention that, practiced regularly, eliminates the need for heroic weekend deep cleans. Muda Haijo. Eliminate the waste from every movement, do less to get more. 8. Anzen to Heiwa. Safety and inner peace. This is the tip I promised. the one that goes against everything you learned. The pressure cooker is one of the most rejected appliances in contemporary Western kitchens. And the reason isn't the appliance itself. It's the memory, it's the sound, it's the fear. The memory of pots that exploded, of accident stories, of the constant and intimidating hissing that demands permanent attention, of the anxiety of never knowing exactly how much pressure is building inside, of the uncertainty about when it's safe to open. This aversion leads people to avoid beans, lentils, chickpeas, tough cuts of meat that become tender and nutritious under pressure, missing out on nutrition, time savings, and money because of fear of an appliance. The electric pressure cooker eliminates this fear so completely that it seems like an entirely different appliance, because in practice it is silent, equipped with multiple independent pressure and temperature sensors that physically prevent any opening while there's internal pressure. Programmable. It makes beans, brown rice, soups, braised meats, risottos, puddings, homemade yogurt, and dozens of other preparations while you live your life elsewhere in the house. The Japanese call this state anshin anzen, safety that produces peace of mind. It's not just that the appliance is safe, it's that the safety of the appliance frees your mind from the state of constant vigilance that conventional pressure cookers demand. You program it, leave the kitchen, the appliance cooks, finishes, depressurizes automatically and safely, and keeps the food warm until you're ready to serve. A whole family's dinner can be ready while you exercise, bathe the children, work remotely, or simply rest. This is not convenience. This is the return of hours of your life. 9. Funiki no seiri, the organization of atmosphere. Most people organize objects. The Japanese organize atmospheres. There is a fundamental difference between these two paradigms that explains why a room can be tidy with everything in the right place and still feel heavy, tiring, difficult to be in. Funiki means atmosphere, ambiance, that intangible quality you feel immediately upon entering a space. And seiri, the first S of the Japanese 5S philosophy, means to sort, classify, eliminate what doesn't belong. The organization of atmosphere begins by understanding that objects out of place are not just visual inconveniences. They are cognitive alert signals. Each item that is in the wrong place communicates to the brain that there is a pending decision, an incomplete task, something that requires resolution. And the brain responds to these signals with a low-intensity state of alertness that is exactly that feeling of being tired for no apparent reason. The Japanese solution is progressive spatial purification. You don't organize the whole house. You create a zone of peace first, one surface, one room, one corner that is completely in order, where each object has purpose and a defined place. This space functions as a psychological anchor. Even when the rest of the house is in managed chaos, this zone of order exists. And it pulls, it inspires, it demonstrates that order is possible and accessible, not a distant ideal. A compact air purifier enters here not just as an air quality appliance, which is in itself a real and measurable advantage, but as an atmosphere-defining object, a space that smells clean, that has fresh air circulating, that doesn't carry that heavy stillness of closed-up rooms, is a space where the mind naturally relaxes. Funiki no seiri. Organize the atmosphere, not just the objects. 10. Ma no netsu. The heat of the right moment. Ma is the Japanese concept of space and pause, of emptiness that carries meaning, and in the kitchen it manifests in a way that most people have never considered. Every time you wait for water to boil on the stove, you are consuming a stretch of time that serves no purpose. You are standing still or semi-present, needing to remain in the kitchen to prevent water from boiling over, or the stove running unattended. 3 minutes, 4 minutes, 6 minutes for larger pots, sometimes 6 times a day. That's 20 minutes of accumulated passive waiting in a single day, 100 minutes in a week, 80 hours in a year, 80 hours of passive waiting, standing in front of a stove. The electric kettle with automatic shutoff resolves this with an efficiency that is almost offensively simple. It boils water in 90 seconds to 2 minutes, shuts off by itself. You can be in another room, preparing other ingredients, helping a child, finishing a task. But the real benefit goes beyond speed. The kettle frees the stovetop. While water boils for pasta, you're using the burners for the sauce, the protein, the vegetables. The kitchen starts functioning in parallel instead of sequentially. You don't cook in a single line, you cook in a network. And the applications go beyond the obvious. Instantly available boiling water to sanitize cutting boards, clear a drain, prepare herbal teas, accelerate defrosting, make gelatin, prepare sauces that require a specific temperature. The kettle is a versatility multiplier in the kitchen. Ma no netsu. Heat at exactly the right moment, in exactly the right space, without wasting time or attention. 11. Kuki no chikara, the power of the air you don't see. There is in Japan a silent obsession with internal air quality, not with artificial fragrances, not with air fresheners, not with those sprays that mask odors without solving anything. An obsession with the air itself, with what is in it that you cannot see. And this obsession begins with an understanding that most people in the Western world still don't have. The air inside your home can be up to 5 times more polluted than the outside air of a large city. 5 times. Human and animal skin particles, dust mites and their waste, mold spores, volatile organic compounds released by paints, furniture, and cleaning products, plus all the dust continuously redistributed by traditional brooms. All of this circulates in the air you and your family breathe during the 16 to 18 hours spent inside the home. The conventional broom is one of the biggest culprits in this scenario. It creates the illusion of cleanliness while in practice merely redistributing the problem. Observe a ray of sunlight entering through a window after sweeping. That hypnotic dance of floating particles you see is concrete evidence that the broom failed. It moved the visible dirt from the floor into the air you breathe. The Japanese solution begins with the compact upright vacuum cleaner. In Japan, vacuum penetration in urban homes exceeds 95%. This is no accident. It's the result of decades of education about indoor air quality and the practical understanding that cleaning means removing, not redistributing. The modern upright vacuum is lightweight, quiet compared to older models, and uses filters that capture microscopic particles, including allergens. It doesn't raise dust, it eliminates dust. For families with small children who crawl with their faces near the floor, or members with rhinitis, asthma, or any respiratory sensitivity, this transition is not a convenience upgrade. It is a health decision. Kuki no chikara, the power of air, applied to domestic reality. 12. Taisetsu naha, the blade that deserves respect. Taisetsu means to deeply value, to care with respect for what holds value, and nothing in the kitchen receives less respect and more misuse than knives. The glass cutting board is the biggest enemy of knives in the modern kitchen. It looks elegant, easy to clean, contemporary, and it is progressively destroying the edge of every blade that touches it. The physics is simple. Glass is harder than knife steel. Every cut on glass creates micro scratches on the blade that accumulated, transform a knife that once cut with surgical precision into a tool that pushes instead of cuts. You begin applying excessive force. Excessive force is the leading cause of cooking accidents. The high-density polyethylene cutting board is the solution that professional Japanese chefs and professionals around the world have known for decades. Firm enough for precise work, gentle enough to preserve blade edges, doesn't develop cracks like wood, can be washed in very hot water with powerful detergents, doesn't retain odors or flavors. And the Japanese color-coded system, Airo Waketa Tabaru, is simply intelligent. One board for raw meat, one for vegetables and fruit, one for cooked foods and bread. The separation completely eliminates any possibility of cross-contamination, which is one of the leading causes of domestic food poisoning. Invest in the boards. Protect the knives. Protect the knives and you protect your fingers. Your fingers and the pleasure of cooking are directly connected. 13. Kaizen no Dogue Tomar. The tool of continuous improvement. Kaizen is perhaps the most widely known Japanese concept in the West, broadly adopted by technology and manufacturing companies. It means continuous improvement through small, incremental steps, not radical transformation, consistent evolution. Applied to kitchen tools, Kaizen has a specific implication that most people resist for reasons that don't hold up to rational examination. Wooden utensils, the spoons, spatulas, and slotted spoons that have been in your family's kitchen for generations, are not hygienic. They are not natural in the sense of being safe. They are culturally comfortable, and that is an important distinction. Wood is hygroscopic. It absorbs moisture. It absorbs grease. It absorbs microscopic food particles that don't come out completely even with vigorous washing or hot water. Over time, micro fissures form on the surface, creating perfect environments for bacterial proliferation, especially when alternating between raw and cooked foods. Kaizen says, is there something better available? Use it. Food-grade silicone is the technological response that aligns perfectly with Japanese functional philosophy. It withstands temperatures from 40 degrees to 446 degrees without degrading. It is completely non-porous. It absorbs nothing. It is hygienically safe in ways that wood simply cannot be. It doesn't damage non-stick coatings. And because it's flexible, it allows you to scrape the bottom and sides of pans and bowls completely. Mottainai applied to the kitchen. Zero waste. A quality silicone spatula lasts for years. It doesn't stain. It doesn't retain odors. It's dishwasher safe. There's no decision here. There is only habit and resistance to the new that most of us carry. Kaizen no Dogue. The tool of continuous improvement. Improve the instrument, and the process improves with it. 14. Mono no aware. The grief over objects that fail us. Mono no aware is one of the most complex and beautiful expressions in Japanese aesthetics. Roughly translated, it means sensitivity to the impermanence of things, a serene melancholy in the face of the fact that nothing lasts forever. But there is a very practical application of this concept that most people never consider. When you buy a cheap pan for $30 or $40, you are not saving money. You are postponing an inevitable cost and, in the meantime, compromising the quality of your meals, consuming more oil or fat to compensate for an already failed non-stick surface, potentially ingesting particles from the peeling coating, and wasting gas or electricity that the uneven heat distribution of an inferior pan requires. A premium ceramic or carbon steel pan, correctly maintained, lasts decades. The math is relentless. 10 cheap pans replaced over 10 years cost far more in money, in time, and in lost culinary experience than a single quality pan purchased once. The Japanese understand this viscerally because Japanese craftsmanship culture, the tradition of shokunin, the artisan who dedicates decades to a single skill, is built on the premise that the right tool doesn't just execute a function. It transforms the experience of executing that function. A quality Japanese high-carbon steel knife, perfectly balanced, with a blade that holds its edge for weeks or months instead of days, doesn't just cut better. It transforms the act of preparing a meal into something approaching active meditation. The precise cut, the minimal effort, the pleasure of a tool that responds exactly as you need. Invest once, buy right, buy less. That is the wisdom of Mono no aware applied to your home tools. 15. Danshari no Jisen, the practice of letting go. Danshari is the Japanese concept that became widely known in the West through Marie Kondo's work, but it exists long before her and goes far beyond the idea of keeping only what sparks joy. Dan means refusing the unnecessary. Sha means discarding what doesn't serve. Ri means liberating oneself from attachment to what remains. It is a complete philosophy, and its most powerful application is not in the dramatic disposal of objects on a motivated cleaning afternoon. It's in the decision made before the purchase. The Japanese question before any domestic acquisition is, "Kore wa hitsuyo ka?" Is this truly necessary? Not just theoretically useful. Necessary now, with a defined place, with a clear function, with the understanding of what will leave the home for this to enter. Most disorganized homes don't have a space problem. They have an unintentional accumulation problem. Objects that entered without conscious decision, that stayed without a defined place, that occupy physical and mental space without contributing to anyone's quality of life. Danshari as an active practice begins with an audit of a single space, not the whole house, one single closet, one single shelf. Everything there passes through the same question. Does this actively contribute to the life I am living right now? Not the life I plan to have. Not the life I'll have when I lose weight, when I have more time, when the children grow up. The life of now. What doesn't pass this test leaves, not necessarily to the trash. It can go to donation to a family member who will use it, to resale. The destination matters less than the decision that it no longer belongs in the space you inhabit. And when an object leaves, something happens that is difficult to describe, but immediate to feel. The space breathes. The mind associated with that space breathes with it. Do this progressively. One space per week, one shelf per day, if that's what time allows. The Kaizen of Danshari, the continuous improvement of letting go, is more sustainable and more profoundly transformative than any weekend organization marathon. These 15 secrets are not about perfection. They never were. Japanese minimalism is not the cold aesthetic of decorating magazines. It's not a home empty of objects. It's a home full of intention, every object present for a reason, every tool fulfilling exactly the function that justifies its existence in that space. When you begin applying these principles, something changes before the home changes visually. The relationship changes. The home stops being a problem to solve and begins to be an environment you care for because you respect what it means. In Japan, there is an expression, "Ie wa kokoro no kagami," the home is the mirror of the mind. The state of the space we inhabit reflects the inner state of who inhabits it, and the direction works both ways. When you care for the space cares for you. Start with a single item from this list. Just one. The one that makes the most sense for your reality right now. Apply it for 2 weeks. Observe what changes, not just in the space, but in how you feel when you're in it. Then add another. That is what Kaizen is. One step, then another. Always in the same direction. No rush. No heroism, no drama, just consistent movement toward the space you deserve to inhabit. Tell me in the comments, which of these 15 are you going to start with? And which one surprised you the most? I read every single answer. If this video added something real to your life, leave a like. It helps more people discover this philosophy. Subscribe and hit the bell so you don't miss what's coming next. Thank you for being here. Take care of your space. It will take care of you. Until next time. ありがとうございます。